Hey everyone, Jim here, coming at you from my shitty webcam. I'll explain why in a minute. But first I wanted to thank everyone who sent their condolences on my last video, my last real video, the GBU episode, for my coworker who just recently passed away. It means a lot. Also, stomach viruses are a bitch. Try to avoid them if you can. So, the reason I decided to forego the usual bells and whistles and all the editing tricks and, the avatar that I usually use in my videos is because what I wanted to talk about in this video is humanizing your political opponents. So what better way than to come at you as a human? So there's been a lot of talk about this kind of thing recently with VidCon, although to be honest I've been thinking about it before the whole VidCon thing happened. Because people like Lacey Green have opened up to hearing the other side. Now, granted, you still have people on the left and on the social justice warrior feminist side like Steve Shives and, some other examples you could think of who definitely are not open to discussion and definitely want to create an echo chamber around them. So this is not talking about all people on really any side, because there are some people who will hear this message or not hear this message at all, but if they do hear it, they'll just block it out because they don't want to challenge their ideas at all. But I think it's interesting, and I've recently been at least trying to get in contact with Lacey Green. I haven't heard anything back from her. I don't even know that she's heard my proposal for a stream of some kind about consent. I definitely want to talk to Lacey about consent because there's some ideas that she's expressed in the past that I have disagreed with then and I disagree with now, and I'm curious if she still has those ideas or if she's changed her mind at all, and I think it would be a good discussion either way. But VidCon really opened up a lot of doors because you had these people from YouTube getting together that normally would not run in the same circles and would normally be opposed with their ideas. So you had Lacey Green talking with Sargon and hanging out with the shitlords, and you had all this other stuff. You had actually Andy Worski and Francesca Ramsey in the same room, and they were talking about stuff, and they came to at least some level of understanding, which was great in my opinion. And I think we need more of that. I think we need to, no matter what side of the argument you're on, no matter what side of the political spectrum you're on, I think we need more of humanizing the other side and realizing that even if you think their ideas are absolutely terrible, and even if you disagree with them completely, they're still people. They're people just like you. They just happen to have different ideas and different beliefs. And, and that goes for politics, that goes for social issues, that even goes for religion. I consider myself an atheist, but I'm always willing to at least hear out arguments from religious people. The only problem is most of the time their arguments are basically the same arguments. There's a lot of religious apologetics that is just kind of the same thing, but it's worth hearing them out anyway to see if any of them have any compelling evidence. So I think we need more of that, especially with the things we're seeing in, in the news and whatnot. People have literally been killing each other over political disagreements and religious disagreements and all this other shit. People attacking each other physically assaulting people because of disagreements, like when Richard Spencer got punched. And there's been so many examples of people just demonizing the other side and saying that, oh no, they're wrong, they're evil, they're, and then using these extreme methods to say oh, they're Nazis or some other thing. Where, they'll be like, oh, the feminists will be like, oh, men's rights activists are misogynists and, they're woman haters. So, so some people will say anything to justify physically attacking or just doing horrible things to people who they disagree with because of the disagreement. And I think that kind of thing needs to stop. Especially like with the recent example we just saw with CNN basically blackmailing a guy for making a fucking meme. Like, he didn't even produce the majority of that video clip. That was a WWE footage from WrestleMania 23 when Trump tackled Vince McMahon in the Battle of the Billionaires, and the guy just, all the guy did was just put the CNN logo over Vince McMahon's face. And all of a sudden CNN is saying, oh, well, that's inciting violence. So, you know, basically they blackmailed him to basically like, oh, like, we could dox you. You know, and he apologized, so we're not going to release his information. But we reserve the right to release his information if any of that should change. Which is very shady, and there's so much wrong with CNN that I don't even want to get into it, because I could do like a whole video about it. Basically, CNN is dog shit. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that it's really important to humanize your political opponents. Because at the end of the day, they're people, just like you. And you may disagree on things. You may actually agree on some things, and you might not expect. You know, you might think that, oh, so-and-so is such a fucking idiot. Oh, they're such an asshole. I can't believe it. But at the end of the day, you're probably going to find some common ground if you look for it. And that's really a good thing. So I would like to try and humanize my political opponents more going forward. That doesn't mean an end to comedy. That doesn't mean an end to, you know, insults, if you want to call it that. That doesn't mean an end to sort of the anger and derision that I usually have in my videos, because at the end of the day, and this has always been my policy, I go after ideas, and I go after arguments, rather than going after people. So the point is to just, going forward, still make fun of bad ideas, still make fun of bad arguments, but try to avoid as much as possible going after, like, personal insults. And I definitely don't want to get into the kind of ad hominem area where it's just like, where it just becomes like insulting someone based on their appearance, or insulting someone based on, you know, what they wear or how they identify, or, you know, some unrelated thing that they may have said or done in the past. So ultimately, going forward, I want to still make fun of bad ideas and still entertain all of you with, you know, my sort of brand of humor, if you can even call it a brand of humor, my particular sense of humor. And I still want to entertain. I still want to make people laugh. It's what I love to do. But I want to try and aim more for a conversation, more of a dialogue. And anyone who I've made videos about in the past who wants to have any kind of debate or discussion with me, I'm totally open for it. And I'm totally open for having streams and all that good stuff. And hopefully I can get some of those planned for the future. I do have a very busy schedule lately, but who knows? When you're trying to plan stuff in advance, like, I don't know, if you get enough notice in advance, I could probably clear at least, you know, one day out of my schedule for something like that. And once again, I want to reiterate my desire to have Lacey Green on for a talk about consent. And basically just because I want to directly address the things that she's said about consent in the past that I've disagreed with. And I want to get my arguments, my counter-arguments out there without feeling like I'm just talking to a brick wall or, you know, essentially preaching to the choir. You know, so I want to do that kind of directly, and I'm in no rush. I know that she's probably very busy, probably a very busy person, but I am I'm a patient man. I will keep asking for it, and I will keep trying to contact Lacey until it happens. And hopefully it will happen, and hopefully it will be as good in reality as it is in my head. But anyway, that's enough rambling out of me. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, maybe I'll make more like it in the future. As always, thank you for watching. I'll catch you next time. Stay great, apes.